Hinamoto, an island created by Tenpenchi, had many samurai and ninja guilds at that time. They became the center of the country. Therefore, those who come to fight in Hinamoto have a strong desire for samurai. What is the name of the guild that created Hinamoto? It is commonly known as Kachu Fugetsu Majin Keppuroku Kuromiko Shrine. What? I didn't know there was a country where the guild in the game era was founded. However, when the horse carriage suddenly stopped, they found out that it was a group of thieves who stopped them. The male leaders prepared for battle at random, but Diurna chose to stay behind, only because he had never killed anyone. He didn't know what to do in the face of such a sudden situation. And when a few thieves were talking to Chun about all kinds of insults, he didn't notice that the male leader was already in a daze, and his body was even more murderous. In order to prevent the male leader from continuing to talk nonsense, Diurna chose to take a hit directly. The battle between the two sides also broke out at this moment. He thought the thieves were a little strong, but he didn't expect that no one could hold out for a round in the hands of the male leader. After subduing the male leader asked the other party who revealed the information. In the next second, Diurna directly held the male leader, and the reason he did this was to prevent the male leader from further blackening, and to see the male leader return to normal, and Diurna turned around at random. What was that? I don't know. What did I do? That scene just now. It was so cold and dark. Did the culprit notice, or was it just me? In the past, the master did the same thing to me, and I was very calm, so I immediately killed him. What should I do after this? How should I spend the rest of my life? The male leader didn't expect this at all. He just wanted to buy a horse as a means of transportation. But his wife, Jin Ling, prepared a level 751 god beast for him. It's easy to want to destroy a country, and the reason he chose it was very simple. Why did you choose this? If I'm going to pull a real carriage, I think this is a new beast class monster. What do you think? No. No. Just before that, the male leader was attacked by a group of thieves. After interrogation, he found that the purpose of the group of thieves seemed to be something related to the church on the carriage. The male leader even thought about the church in Russia. He speculated that someone was deliberately blocking it. After that, the male leader and a few people arrived at the small town. After completing the commission, a few people also left at random. Combined with the comfortable carriage, it has been a long journey. The male leader decided to buy a carriage as a means of transportation. Looking at the carriage, the male leader decided to buy it and modify it. After that, he quickly picked a carriage that looked good and had enough space. However, when the rich boss learned that the male leader had not prepared the horse, he suggested that the male leader prepare a strong enough horse. If it's just a horse, he might not be able to pull it. At this time, the male leader suddenly wanted to ask the monster to pull the carriage. The boss also remembered that someone had done the same thing. But the premise is to tame the monster. Finally, when the male leader left here, he just received a letter from Shuni. After learning that the male leader was going to look for the horse, Shuni suggested that he catch a monster to pull the carriage. The male leader did not object to this. Shuni then reported to the male leader about the moon porcelain. Because the male leader took it, the kingdom was also in a mess. Shuni was also in a daze about this. Because of this, the kingdom used all kinds of means to recruit himself, and even used the moon porcelain as his possession. This also made him have an evil idea. On the horse, Shuni found a huge monster. Fortunately, he used it as a horse. The next day, the male leader came to the place where he bought the carriage again. After remodeling the carriage, Shuni also informed the male leader that he had arrived in the forest outside the city. However, when the two of them arrived, they were stunned. Because this is a level 751 mythical monster, the male leader was curious where this monster came from. Shuni said that it was just pulled from the forest. How did the monster get close to Diurna in the next second? It seems to be very close to Diurna. What makes the male leader headache is that the monster is so big. How to pull the carriage? Shuni had already considered this. With his order, the monster kept shrinking. In the end, it only became about the same height as people. I see. Kagaru, I'm counting on you from now on. Don't be rude to my master. After that, the male leader set out on a journey to the Jilat residence. In the process, the male leader found that Yu Ye was communicating with Yang Yan. After inquiring, he learned that Yang Yan was with his mother when he was a child. Later, he was hunted by an adventurer. After escaping, he was seen by a smart girl. He waited until he became strong before returning to Linfeng. In this way, Diurna suddenly remembered that she had saved a wounded dog when she was a child. And from Yang Yan's response, the dog that Diurna saved was him. Thinking that there was such a fate, Shuni decided to give Yang Yan's right to Diurna. After terminating the contract, Diurna followed suit and concluded the contract. The next day, the male leaders soon arrived near the destination. At this time, he found that two high-level people came to him. Shuni explained that they came to welcome him. Under the leadership of the two people, the male leader finally saw his former subordinate, Gilat. The male leader, who has traveled all over the game world, didn't expect that he finally saw his NPC subordinate after going through a lot. But he found out that he had no more time, and his wish before his death was to fight with himself. It's a fight. Before that, the male leader finally saw one of his subordinates, Gilat. Then he introduced to the male leader the current Beast King and the Beast King's daughter, and the one next to him was his new subordinate. After that, when the two men discussed their past events, Shuni, in order not to disturb the two people for a long time, proposed to go for a cup of tea. At this time, the male leader told Gilat that he had traveled to the game world. After understanding the reason why the male leader disappeared, Gilat randomly told the male leader that he was about to die, so he hoped that he could defeat the male leader before he died. The male leader realized that Gilat wanted to die in battle. I am the strongest warrior. The one-on-one duel with you. I will show you how far my fangs can reach. I will show you how far my fangs can reach. When it was night, Gilat announced to the Beast King that he would fight with the male leader. The Beast King's daughter didn't understand this. She asked why everyone could show a little respect. Gilat explained that he had seen several generations of people die, and he insisted on living until now just to fight with the male leader. So he hoped that everyone could witness the result together. The next day, Gilat took out the long-awaited weapon. After the male leader looked at it carefully, he called out the word of the moon to fix the whole set. With the hammer, the colorless blue light spread around the shield. The whole set was fixed very quickly. The male leader's operation shocked everyone. When the male leader returned the whole set to Gilat, Gilat asked the male leader the same question. If he found a way to go back, would he go back to the original world? I will go back. That's the reason I've been fighting. When the time came for the two to fight, the battlefield was set in the forest below. After Gilat said goodbye to his men, he came to the forest with the male leader. As the two shouted at the same time, their battle began. As soon as the weapon collided, a strong shockwave renewed. At this time, the forest seemed to be in a one-on-one battle. Their battle also shocked the Beast King. However, only Shuni was pure. The battle just now was just a warm-up for the two. At this time, Gilat, who had finished warming up, planned to do his best. He only saw his body constantly expanding and the appearance of a wolf on his face. Then a husky appeared in front of the male leader. Go, 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 go. As expected, it's too much. Under the high intensity of Gilat's attack, the careless male leader was accidentally punched into the sky. In order to respond to Gilat's awareness, the male leader had to use a big move. When the two skills collided, a huge amount of energy cooled. At this time, the two were already in a hot-blooded battle. Even if the weapon was smashed, they still had to continue fighting. However, as soon as Gilat touched the male leader, his body began to move back a few steps. It turned out that Gilat had reached his limit at this time. As a reward for hitting the male leader, Gilat wants to see all the strength of the male master. Knowing this wish, the male master did not speak. He jumped to the deep hole, unlocked the seal, and released the power of the body. At that time, a burst of energy rushed to the sky. Gilat, who saw this scene, was satisfied. Then he closed his eyes forever. After the battle, the male master announced the battle result to the Beast King Jiren, and said that Gilat has reached the same level as himself. Looking at Gilat with a face full of sadness, Jiren's sad mood also disappeared. After the funeral for the Beast King, the sadness of the male master's heart was finally released in the arms of Shuni. This male master did not expect. He wanted to cover up his true strength. He eventually exposed his identity as a full-fledged boss. Because the weapons and materials that the boss dropped remained a trace of magic. But because of this, the Lion King's Big Thunder Girl found herself, and the other party came up with a request to fight with themselves. Just before, since the Beast Kingdom held a funeral for Gilat, what the male master did not expect, his former supporting role Yide also appeared here, and still attended the funeral as a representative of the Dragon King. What he didn't expect, Yide also served as the first Dragon King of the Dragon Kingdom. It's just that he has now severed his relationship with the Lion King and lived a free life. Under the leadership of the Beast King, the male master finally saw Yide. The other party came up with the idea of returning to the team, and the other party's tight attitude made the male master not know what to do. So I had to change the topic, telling the wish of Gilat. After learning this news, Yide asked the male master what he was going to do. The male master said he was going to go to the holy place for an investigation. After learning that Yide wanted to go back to the Dragon Kingdom, meet the male master again. Just when the male master was about to leave, the male master remembered that Yide's special weapon was still in his hand. After returning the weapon, Yide found that it seemed to be more useful than before. The male master explained that after repairing Gilat's weapon, he also repaired Yide. Now the performance has improved by half. After saying goodbye to Yide, the male master came to the local guild. I plan to raise the level of the adventurer to C, and the task of defeating Goblin is the best. Under the operation of the male master and the lady, without the effort of chasing the ghost, I easily killed a few goblins. Just when the male master handed over the task, the front desk lady handed over a letter to the male master. And Ji Xingwan is the head of the adventurer guild from the kingdom. The content of the letter is that the male master has been summoned by the royal family, must return to the kingdom as soon as possible. For the sudden summon, the male master was shocked, but under the hint of Shuni, the male master guessed that it might be related to the Kuro night. So on the evening, the male master found the Beast King and gave him Gilat's fist. Just because this is one of the things Gilat asked the male master before his death. The next day, the male master was in a hurry, so he used the transmission gem to send it to the point where he knew it. Because he used the hidden skill in advance, the three people were not discovered by the guards lurking around. After returning to the guild, the male master was curious about why he was summoned. I don't know about the front desk lady. The helpless male master had to ask the president. The president told the male master that the one next to him was the demon teacher named Arad, and the jade that the male master had brought before was identified by him. The male master wants to know why he was summoned. Arad explained a while ago, the explanation of the sword flying into the kingdom of the second princess. After investigation, it was found that there was a slight difference in magic power between the sword and the sword, because the remaining power is the same as the magic power on the jade. That's why I found the male master, and the person who summoned the male master was the second princess. After returning, the male master told Shuni about the whereabouts. Shuni speculated that the royal family might want to recruit the male master as an official, or incite the male master to marry the noble, just because the national strength is considered to be equal to the number of top voters. So, the royal family had no choice but to recruit the talent. Then Shuni suggested that the male master be confirmed as a reason to refuse to be an official. The problem is marriage. If you refuse without a reason, it will be even more troublesome. About that, I think I should say that I am engaged. Oh, you already have someone. In some cases, if I say that Tiara is also engaged, there will be no problem. Me too? Oh, don't you like it? Well, it's okay if it's disadvantageous. The next day, the male master met the second princess under the guidance of the guards. The male master said he wanted to know the reason why he was summoned. The second princess took out the sword and began to inquire about the details of the battle between the male master and the skeleton knight. After a round of inquiring, the second princess finally put down her guard against the male master. It turns out that once the adventurer is judged to be a top voter, he will be summoned to the palace. And some people use this to assassinate. And the second princess is a holder of skill intuition, so her intuition thinks there is no problem with the male master. Is this the main point? Yes, let's get to the point. So it's about love after all. Shin, I want you to fight me. The adventurer who traveled to the game world didn't expect it at all. In order not to hurt the girl in front of him, he suppressed his ability in the rain. As a result, the other party was scared to death. It's fast. You dodged it. If I didn't dodge it, I feel like I would have died. Before that, the second princess challenged the male master. This is what the guards on one side want to mention first. However, the princess was determined to fight after all. Under the lead of the princess, the three people came to a crystal and then sent to a training ground. And it is said that this is provided to the voter, because this is built on the previous technology of the bustling sunset event, so they don't know the other purposes. Just when the male master felt strange about this world and the transmission point, the princess has begun to urge the male master to choose a weapon. After choosing a suitable weapon, the two sides quickly launched an attack. After fighting with the princess for a while, in order to hide his strength, the male master used the ability to adjust to fight against the princess. At this time, the princess said that it was okay to use skills. Hearing this, the male master had to put a little buff skill. I didn't expect the princess to understand this trick, until the princess tried her best to break the ground, as soon as the male master proposed the battle to the end. After all, the weapons are almost at the limit. Under the persuasion of the guards, the princess finally agreed to stop the duel. And then, she wanted to win the male master. But the male master rejected the reason that he was only suitable to be an adventurer. What the male master didn't understand was why he had to bring the big sword on the skeleton knight. The guards explained that someone wanted to use this sword to nail the male master. Later, forced the male master to serve the country. So as long as the male master gives this sword to the princess in a gift way, can avoid being caught. Relatively, he will also pay a sum of money to the male master. Compared with the former male master, he hoped to get the permission to enter the magic library. This shocked the princess, because the value of this sword is enough for a person to spend a lifetime. However, for the male master, the information he wants is worth this price. The two people's deal was successful. When the three people returned to the castle, found the soldiers around were knocked to the ground. I only saw a minister casting a spell on one side. The guards just wanted to go up and break it. At the same time, the male master felt uncomfortable. Then he was sent away. Wait until he opened his eyes and found that he was in a deserted place. The princess recognized that this place seemed to be a sacred place. In order to get back as soon as possible, the male master asked the princess about the nearest town here. Then contacted Shuni. Tell Shuni that the minister was being manipulated, and agreed to meet in a nearby town. Before meeting with the male master, Shuni took Berna to the castle in advance, because he found that the black hand behind him could very well be the account book. That is a kind of account book that gains power in the account book. Not only can it change the appearance, even the higher the level, the higher the power and intelligence. According to the fact that it can manipulate humans, it is very likely that the other party is a level 400 and has the account book of intelligence. Later, the two of them helped each other in hiding magic. Came to the dungeon very smoothly. After the Mingyun guards, Shuni opened the room of the minister. Just when he was going to release the abnormal state of his body for the minister, unexpectedly, an assailant attacked. However, Shuni was already prepared. Cut the assailant 3 times, 5 times, 2 times. Also revealed the real face behind the scenes. An account book with a name and a high level of 423. At this time, the monster also recognized Shuni, so he began to persuade Shuni to join him. He even said that Shuni was abandoned by the male master. Said that Shuni quietly took up a double knife. Then summoned the exclusive weapon created by the male master for Shuni. The knife fell. The monster was killed in an instant. After explaining the situation to the king, Shuni then ran to the town, agreed with the male master. The big thunder girl in front of her thought that this Shilamu was just an ordinary little monster. However, when he hit Shilamu, he regretted it, because Shilamu not only ignores physical attacks, even likes to play hide and seek. Just before, the male master and the princess were accidentally transported to the holy place. Just when the two were looking for the exit, the princess remembered that the holy place would set a door in 4 directions, and set a small door at a distance from the door, and there was a device to open the door inside. But the male master thought there was no need to look for the exit in such a troublesome way. So he decided to climb up the wall to take a look. However, something strange happened. The male master, who jumped to half empty, was sent back to the ground. In order to verify his guess, the male master came to the gap on one side and tried again, and the result was still sent back to the ground. Understanding what's going on, the male master took the princess to a light ball. As the male master thought, the mechanism here is the same as in the game. So as long as there is that light ball, then this place will become a back door, and can only reach the exit through a specific route. As for being forced back to the ground, it is one of the mechanisms here. For safety reasons, the male master left the princess at the bottom of the garden, and he went to the next place. After confirming the situation, the male master returned here, and then he took the princess to the next place. Soon after, the male master found a monster on the map. When he came, he found that it was actually a wolf. The monster triggered the battle, and released a dragon wind. The princess, who had never dealt with such a monster, had some concerns. The male master saw the situation and comforted her to interrupt the monster. And all you have to do is to use all your strength. Then, the male master took out a weapon. After interrupting the dragon wind, the princess seized the opportunity to cut out all her strength from the monster. However, this was not enough to kill the monster. The male master saw the situation and reported to the monster. Later, when the two were sent back to the next place, a giant slime blocked the way for the two. The princess, who didn't think it was a threat, rushed up. As a result, she was tied up by the slime. The male master had no choice but to save her. After saving the princess, the male master explained that the slime could make the blow ineffective. So they decided to work together to defeat the slime. Then the male master released the flame magic towards the slime. Reveal the core. And then the princess cut it out. After solving the slime, the princess found that the male master was deliberately backing up. Under the reminder of the male master, the princess realized that all her clothes were corroded by the slime. After changing into the male master's spare clothes, the two continued to rush to the next step. In order to let the princess improve her strength in a short time, the male master contacted Xu Ming, asked him about how to simulate the slime. Then the male master passed it on to the princess. Because it's just a simulation of the slime, the effect will be worse than the slime. But this is enough for the princess to deal with the little monsters here. And the male master's action of sending a sword and sending a skill and not accepting a reward made the princess a little embarrassed. In order to make the princess feel at ease, the male master made a request. That is to protect the people of this country. The princess promised at this moment. Soon, the two came to the door. However, they were blocked by a giant egg. At this time, the male master felt that he was being pulled by a force. Not waiting for the two to clear the situation, the monster in the giant egg came out of the shell in the next second. Then he attacked the two. After avoiding the attack, the male master proposed to let him be the bait. The princess attacked from behind. Soon, the two followed the plan. After the male master used the dart to attract the firepower, the princess who found the opportunity went up with full force. However, this not only did not cause damage to the monster, but also angered the monster. The male master's sword could only be used for face-to-face output with fire magic. Just when he thought he had solved the monster recovered its original form in the next second. Then, the two ran to a corner to discuss a countermeasure. The male master proposed to let him fight with the monster. And during this period, the princess went to investigate the switch device. Only because he speculated that the monster was likely generated by magic. And the number of times the monster was reborn was probably in the switch device. After saying goodbye to the princess, the male master found the monster again. Without the princess watching, this time the male master finally used his full strength. Just one blow and the monster's head was cut off. And on the other side, the princess finally found a way to stop the switch device after 30 rebirths. The male master, who couldn't kill the monster even with magic and physical attacks, intended to use the sealing skill. However, a white ball appeared in the monster's body, and the feeling of being pulled before reappeared. Just when the male master considered whether to rush over to break the white ball, his body was suddenly moved, and the feeling of pulling disappeared. After trying to cut off the monster's wings, realizing that the monster could not be reborn, the male master went up directly. It was a big move, directly captured the monster. After escaping the holy place, the two continued to move towards the small town. Just when the two were camping at night, the princess wanted to challenge the male master again. However, the male master did not accept at all. The next morning, the male master was shocked to find smoke in the distance. It was a group of monsters, and the direction they were heading was the nearby small town. The male master did not expect this at all. His cursed weapon, surrounded by blood, finally came in handy. He defeated monsters like cutting vegetables. Just before, the male master encountered a large number of monsters. The princess speculated that there might be a flood. And the so-called flood means that once the magic of the holy place gathers to a certain extent, it will turn into monsters and be released. The male master was curious why the monsters were heading to Barmer. The princess explained that the holy place was guarded, so the monsters could only go to Barmer. In order to prevent the flood from spreading further, the male master came to Barmer's adventurer guild and reported the flood. At first, the president was suspicious. However, when the male master took out the introduction letter, the president's attitude immediately changed. He ordered his men to issue an emergency notice. When the male master was going to meet the princess, a shop named Cat Paradise reminded him of the meeting place. Just when the male master thought of some clues, Shuni sent a message saying that he had arrived in Barmer. The male master asked Shuni to go to the Lord and request participation in the defense. After saying goodbye to Shuni, the male master met Beretta, a former companion from the game. After reminiscing, the male master remembered the shop called Cat Paradise. Beretta explained that it was where his friend Left's cat lived. The male master was surprised. Beretta continued expressing her love for Barmer. However, the male master clearly remembered that those people had already died. Then Beretta gave him a list of players in this world. After reading it, the male master realized many were related to him. Then Beretta showed another list. These were players who kill for fun. What shocked the male master more was that Shuni was once suspected of PK. After parting with Beretta, the male master did not mention this to Shuni. Instead, he followed Shuni to prepare a battle plan. What surprised him was that monsters around the map had disappeared. Shuni suspected a stronger enemy. Before battle, Shuni spoke with Nanzu. Soon, monsters appeared. Shuni unleashed a large-scale magic attack and wiped out the front line. Nanzu joined in. Then explosions followed. Dirna also attacked. The princess rushed forward bravely. Soon, elite monsters appeared. At a critical moment, Wire arrived to help. Nanzu later ordered retreat due to dangerous weapons. A cursed weapon appeared. It was extremely destructive. The male master removed his power limit and destroyed the threat instantly. Afterward, during a banquet, Shuni apologized, fearing the male master would change after learning about PK. However, the male master did not mind. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.